for us?
1 second.
Okay, thank you. Hi, Jay. No Jay yet. Hi, Jay, can you hear us? Nope. I guess he'll, once you...
You're live.
All right, you guys. Jay, can you hear us, buddy? He's looking like he might hear somebody. Oh, there he is. Yeah, so. Okay, good. Close enough. All right, we're here on Monday, April 3rd. It's a Town Commissioners meeting, Town of Poolesville, starting promptly once again at 7 o'clock. And before we get going, Jeff, if you could lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for that, Jeff. Okay. So we have a public hearing to start the meeting tonight, and we'll get that going. And I've got a little something to read for everybody that puts us on official notice. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The purpose of this public hearing is for Commissioners of Poolesville to hear public comment on the proposed ordinance 225. Pursuant to Section 82.13 of the Charter of the Town of Poolesville, the Commissioners shall adopt a budget that provides a complete financial plan for the budget year July 1, 2023 through June 30, 2024. The proposed budget includes a tax rate higher than the constant yield tax rate. The real property tax rate shall be 0.1781 per $100 of the assessed real property value. First part is ordinance number 225. The second is proposed FY24 budget and tax rate. Number 3 is a copy of the March 22nd, 2023 issue of the Frederick News Post and the notice of public hearing, and then a copy of the March 22nd, 2023 issue of the Frederick News Post with the notice of the proposed real property tax increase. All persons interested in offering testimony regarding the proposed budget and/or tax rate will be restricted to 3 minutes per speaker. Written testimony will be accepted at Town Hall and will need to be received by 4 p.m. on Friday, March 31st. Is that right? Did we have that? Is that a retro date, or is that supposed to be this Friday? Yeah. Are you testing me to see if that I just read things verbatim and that I don't like? Okay, gotcha. So that Friday, this Friday coming up is going to be what, the 7th? So again, rereading that statement. Written testimony will be accepted at Town Hall and will need to be received by 4 p.m. on Friday, April 7th. Copies of the proposed ordinance can be found at www.poolesvillemd.gov, where our public hearing is started. Do we have anybody? There's no signatures on
Let me make
this?
a correction there.
Okay.
That was correct. It was March 31st. The clerk had stopped it prior to the public hearing to receive any comments, so you would have them available here, and none came in.
Very good. Thank you for clarifying that. So that sounds good. Again, for that part of the statement, written testimony will be accepted at Town Hall, will need to be received by 4 p.m. this past Friday, March 31st. And we did not receive any commentary on that?
That is correct.
And we have no signatures here today, the people that want to talk about the budget?
That's correct.
Okay, very good. Unless there's anything else, we'll declare this public hearing closed, and thank you for giving us the right statement to read, and appreciate the correction on that. Thank you, everybody. Good stuff. Announcements. We have an appointment to the Planning Commission. Who is going to make that announcement? No, it's not me. Wade, Martin can do it. Yes.
No, since you voted in closed session, you're fine.
All right, so I'll announce that we interviewed 9 people for the Planning Commission and had a number of really great interviews. And after a tough deliberation, we chose Chuck Stump, who was a previous Planning Commissioner, to sit on the Planning Commission for the next term to replace Kevin Tram. So we're excited about that.
Thank you for that, Martin. And what day does he start? And Kevin's term's ended, and Chuck is appointed as of tonight.
Yeah, the first April meeting that we have.
Okay.
Chuck will come in and Kevin goes out.
Very good. Okay, thank you, Martin. Thanks for the announcement of that, and I echo, and I think the whole board can echo, that a very strong group of candidates. And I love that level of volunteerism and love to see more of that in the future. That was really, really strong. All right, very good. So Arbor Day proclamation. And Wade, can you get us up to date? Because I don't have a copy of it here.
Don, did you want to come up and talk
Yeah.
about this? The Arbor Day proclamation? Did you want to talk about the Arbor Day proclamation?
No, that's not
Okay.
him.
Yeah, so we sent that, Jim, you had sent it out, we wanted to make an announcement.
Right. So we in previous years that we skipped we couldn't make it last year. Was it last year we didn't do one, or was it the year before? I think it was last year. It was the year before. Anyway, so we circulated an Arbor Day proclamation for everybody, once again declaring that April. Thank you. Friday, April 29th. You have it there. It's not on our thing here, so thank you. Appreciate it, Sarah. You're right on top of things. Anyway, so we have the town traditionally has done an Arbor Day proclamation, and I'll read it in short. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees, and whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife, and whereas trees in our community increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our town, and whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal and an expression of our commitment to future generations, and whereas students of the Poolesville Public Schools will show their commitment to the environment through tree plantings at their schools. Now, therefore, I, James Brown, President of the Poolesville Commissioners, do hereby proclaim Friday, August 29th, is this the right day? 2023? Or, I'm sorry, April 29th, 2023, that's the right day, as Arbor Day in Poolesville, and urge all individuals, groups, businesses, and schools to celebrate and enjoy Poolesville's outdoors and the richness of our community through the planting and preservation of trees. This was circulated, and there was no official celebration in 2022, but nonetheless, the town recognized April 29th, 2022 also as Arbor Day in Poolesville. That's pretty cool, so we did it anyway. Thank you for having that. This was all circulated amongst the Poolesville commissioners. Everybody had some sort of positive comment on it, and nobody had a negative. So is that something we need to vote on right now, or is since we had a consensus via email?
You're fine. It's-
Okay,
Yep.
very good. So we've declared Arbor Day, and we appreciate everybody reading back and kicking it back and forth a little bit on the dates when we were circulating that. So thanks to everybody for that. Appreciate it. Commissioner committee reports, Martin, since you're at the top of the list, buddy, you're on.
Well, you stole my thunder, or I stole my thunder.
Stole your own thunder.
We're going to announce the Planning Commission appointment, and we have not met since our last meeting, and we will meet a week from Wednesday. So I will have more for you then, but everything is basically just comprehensive plan at this point. So that's moving along. Still looking for a May through June finish, and I'll have more for you after the next meeting.
Give us what phase you're working on right now.
The housing chapter. Yep, and
Very good.
that's to me so far that's the most complicated and the biggest one, and
The meat and potatoes of it?
well,
Is it would be?
more than that, but yeah, yeah. There's a lot of meat and potatoes to it, but this one's kind of seems intricate. Yeah.
Questions for Martin on his committee report talking about the Planning Commission and the comprehensive plan. And by the way, I think all of us can say that we appreciate the work you guys have put in on it, and we know you're headed towards a great plan.
It's a lot of
So-
work, but it's good.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
good stuff. Questions for Martin on his report, on the comprehensive report either?
Because I think you mentioned before when you plan to have the draft out for review. Is that like August or so?
Well, this board will probably get it sometime, I would guess, around June. But there will not be a draft circulated for review until it's basically done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then this board will review it and either sign off on it or send it back for changes.
Okay. Thank you, Mark.
Good stuff. Thanks, Martin. I appreciate that. Ed, can you do fair access, whatever level you want to there in Sustainable Poolesville, please?
All right, so I'll do sustainable pools. We'll say you want to do fair access? Okay, that way share enough for everybody. So with the sustainable Poolesville, we had a good meeting, had a lot of conversation in terms of follow-up, where we talked about just looking how someone from the Sustainable Poolsville, how we can improve that communication just across with the other committees. And so we talked about that. I'll wait for you. Go ahead. All right. Now as you listening, and so we all right, fair enough. So, but basically, really looking at what we talked about the last meeting we had here, how that communication flows. So beyond just commissioners sharing reports, but really looking at how we can have someone from Sustainable Poolsville, someone from the different department heads, so they can have communication with each other, just so everybody's in the loop, because we got a lot of great volunteers. And so looking at how to create that type of process. And so I believe that Don will wind up talking with you all to figure out how we can improve that cross-functional communication. So that's one of the things we covered. We also looked at the Pollinator Meadow Project. And so you see Jason here and his family did a great job. That was on the 25th of March. I'm not going to steal his thunder, all right? And then we'll talk about this. We talked about the litter initiative, and so we just had a cleanup with Pick It Up Poolsville over at Stevens Park this past week and on Saturday. So I was out there. I got talked strongly into being out there, and so good group of people came out cleaning up at Stevens Park. Stay tuned for the next Pick It Up Poolsville, and then we talked about composting, and so with the Sustainable Poolsville. We also, when this commission board is ready to have us come in and have the group come in and talk about some of those benefits of composting, then we would be ready to do that. So, all right.
To that end, do we have any results on the survey? I mean, I know we have results, but are you ready to prepare to?
So we didn't put a definitive deadline yet on it. So I think because Sustainable Poolsville had not asked for a deadline yet, so we can compile that results as soon as we decide on what you want the deadline to be.
On that, I would say maybe we can give one more push to the community about if you have not taken the survey, we would value your feedback. Sure. Okay. And then our next meeting is April 26th.
Very good, Ed. Any questions for Ed on Sustainable Poolsville from anybody? Looking forward to composting the survey results. That's a joke. Nothing. Is my microphone on?
That was a joke.
Yeah. Thank you. I know. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Very good. So thanks for that, Ed. Greatly appreciate the report. Sarah, if you could give us for fair access, appreciate it.
Yeah. So the budget from the executive budget has been pushed forward, and the sort of summary is that there is only funding right now for Poolsville High School Wellness Center planning, not actually for a Poolsville High School Wellness Center. And we have confirmed, we have, I don't know if you mind, I'll just read what they said. They said, in practical application, recommending a high school wellness center in conjunction with major school construction at Poolsville would prioritize a school with the lowest high school enrollment and one of the lowest farms, which is free and reduced meal students, rates over others of greater need. County staff notes that there are additional options for somatic health delivery coming online, including mobile health services that may be more cost-effective in serving the Poolsville community. So we were obviously very disappointed that that's kind of where we are, but we've faced this with the high school, and we are confident that we can continue to push our message forward, that there are other metrics that need to be used to measure need out here in Poolsville, not just free and reduced meals, but also accessibility, geography, proximity, distance to health services. So we're going to continue to work with the county council members that have been advocating for us. Marilyn Balcom is doing a great job, Will Jawanda. We'll continue to work with them. It makes it that much more important for us to really push forward the funding for the co-located community center and the wellness clinic within that community center. Also, fair access, the White's Ferry, there is a video that we made in conjunction with Foundry, and that has been circulated. And my MC Media also did interviews about White's Ferry with different community members, including some of the commissioners and people who are business owners in Poolsville. And that has also been released. So we are continuing to make sure that our need and our priority for having White's Ferry reopened is kind of top of the list. And regarding the wellness center, that's something that we're going to definitely address. We have a meeting next month with the public health officer, Keisha Davis, and we're hoping to also loop in council member Lorianne Sales, who is the county health care liaison. So we're going to continue to work with the people who are in position to make decisions, especially regarding White's Ferry and the wellness center. Those are kind of our two top priorities right now. Any questions, comments, thoughts? Anything I missed that anybody wants to add in?
No, I think you got it. Very comprehensive. Appreciate that, Sarah. Any questions for Sarah for fair access?
No, thank you.
Nope, good report. Appreciate that. Very thorough. Jeff, are you ready to do your Parks, Recreation, and
Yes,
Streets
but I
report?
noticed that it either wasn't on the agenda. I noticed that it either wasn't on the agenda or maybe we skipped it, the announcements.
What's that?
I noticed that it either wasn't on the agenda or somehow we skipped it.
What was it? What are you talking about?
Announcements.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't on the agenda. How about that? Then we dodged it. We'll come back to it. If you want to do announcements now, go for it. And
Okay.
as well as your report.
All
Thank you.
right. Well, I have a couple of announcements then. The Upper Montgomery County Volunteer Fire Station held a CPR class on April the 1st. And we have another CPR and AED class coming up on April the 15th. And also Saturday, April the 15th, and also Saturday, May the 13th. And I know that there are still a few open spots on April 15th and also May the 13th. So you can go to the Upper Montgomery, it's the umcvfd.org/CPR and register for that. There's also a spaghetti and meatballs dinner coming up on April 22nd. That's also at the fire station, and also the fire station is beginning its summertime pork and beef sandwich sales. This is a fundraising event. It begins on the second Saturday of May, and I believe it goes all the way every second Saturday, May, June, July, August, September. So look forward to that. A couple of other things that I want to bring to your attention. The Poolsville Seniors is having a European travel planning. That's on April the 6th at 7 o'clock. You can go to their website and register for that. Likewise, there's also Poolsville Seniors is hosting bingo on April the 18th at 1 in the afternoon. Again, you can go to their website and register for that. Kenny Scholes, a well-known local historian, is having a historic ag reserve properties. That's on April the 20th at 7 p.m. So again, you can go to the Poolsville Seniors website and register for that. There are also two pop-up walks coming. One is on April the 6th, Great Falls, and the other one is, that's April the 6th, and the other one is Seneca Stonecutter Cemetery. That's on, it says April 10th or the 11th at 10 a.m. And I've been a number of walks with Kenny Scholes, and it's always very, very interesting. The gentleman has a wealth of knowledge. Tax Day is coming up, of course, on April, I think it's the 17th or the 18th. And there's a sign that you can get some assistance with preparing your taxes for free at the library here. Oh, in fact, that was the next thing. So tax aid at the Maggie Nightingale Library. If you need help with your Maryland or federal income tax return, contact the AARP/IRS tax aid program, and that's right over here at the library. Montgomery County has a program called Montgomery Connects Computers. Montgomery County's Montgomery Connects program aims to loan 40,000 computers to Montgomery County residents ages 7 and older who don't have access to a computer. So that looks very interesting. And then a couple of other things that I just found later today. So David Trone is our congressman, of course, and he's been extremely instrumental in the streetscape funding. And there's a number of that I want to call your attention to. Wade, there's a grant from the Environmental Protection Agency on clean water. The name of the thing is Clean Water State Revolving Fund Announcement. There's a big, long description here. The funding will support communities in upgrading essential water, wastewater, and stormwater infrastructure that protects public health. I mean, it sounds exactly what, kind of something that we're in the middle of now. There's also something that interests, perhaps Poolville Green and other folks. The U.S. Department of Treasury, notice of proposed rulemaking for new clean vehicle tax credits. Since the Inflation Reduction Act was signed into law in August, I guess that was August last year, Treasury has worked expeditiously to write the rules that will realize the promise of this legislation. Within days of the law enactment, Treasury issued guidance on the electric vehicle tax credit and worked closely with DOT, Department of Transportation, and DOE, Department of Energy, so consumers could easily find a list of eligible vehicles online. Click here for more information. I think I have this one other thing here. Maybe not. I usually highlight the things I want to mention. Maybe that was it. Okay, I guess that was it. Those are my announcements.
Do you want to go straight to Parks and Streets?
Sure. So we have the Parks and Streets Commission is meeting this Wednesday. Wrong agenda. And we're going to go over the field dedication policy. That's to be in addition to the naming of streets and parks. So the idea is that we include the possibility of naming fields that are at a park. We'll also talk about the Bricken property, which is right across from Westerly Grove, and making a recommendation on park over there. Although I did read extensively the comments from Clark and Azar, which were somewhat not really good news. So I guess we can talk about that later. I also want to make a mention because 2 weeks ago, I did give a report on the Parks and Streets, and I have to really compliment Niles. Thank you, Niles. Thank you, Niles, because I try to take good notes, and I'm telling you, Niles he outdid it by far. So I just want to add some supplementary information regarding the previous Parks and Streets meeting. And I see the gentleman is here. The Eagle Scout Pollinator Project is underway. Eagle Scouts have also jumped in to put benches along the path. Next week, replanting near the water treatment plant. It does reseed itself, but some plants can overpower other plants. Will be plowed this week and be done by the end of the month. Planted a few trees near Brightwell Crossing, 3 red maples. Elgin Park trimmed some trees that Dr. Pike's son put in years ago. People must be patient with plantings. It takes a few years to get established. Added more battery-operated equipment this month. Commercial stuff is getting better and better. Batteries are lasting longer. Rehabbing softball field number 2 at Helmos Park, sodding and field mix. Redoing the infield at Helmos Park number 2. Potomac surveyors are helping survey the fields, and I say they did it for free. The team is proud of the work they've been doing on the field. It looks great. Containers for the parks are no problem. That's the PAA. Remember I mentioned that? Yeah. Prune the street trees in place. Need to catch up with planting. Okay. Mowing will begin next week. This is the earliest they've ever started mowing. Assistant Town Manager Anderegg will put out a notice for a 6-month employee and 3 summertime helpers, $15 per hour for 40 hours a week. Ponds are looking good and coming alive. Worked with the county for the middle school pond. Tama 2 pond is all squared away. And do we want to do a spring walk? Might not be necessary. Everyone takes a minute to look at the pollinator patch. And that's a supplement from last report.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Very good.
You're welcome.
Is that it for you, sir?
It is.
Thank you for that. So we'll whip right back through announcements. Martin, if you're ready.
Well, I just had one brief thing. I was able to attend the unveiling of the Harriet Tubman statue at Button Farm yesterday, which was actually pretty amazing. It's going to be there for 2 months. It's traveling around the country. If you get a chance, go check it out. It's really, really pretty amazing. And, you know, there was like a bunch of historical stuff going on, and Tony Cohen, who's always an intriguing speaker, like spoke, and it was a good event. So just want to let you know I did that. That's all I have.
Definitely newsworthy and awesome. And Tony, anytime you get a chance to Tony speak, as you said, it's
Also, Laura Davis is
Entertaining.
doing well.
oh,
She's
good
in
neighbor.
rehab now, and she's recovering, and she's doing great.
I appreciate that.
Yep.
Thank you for a good neighbor update. Appreciate it. Sarah?
Yes, my only update is that Sam Cooper sent me a notice that we are having our second Poolsville Queer Potluck, and that is on April 16th from 6 to 8 p.m. at The Well, which is the, if you know where K2 Cafe is, it is the end of the adjacent building. And you're encouraged to bring a potluck dish to share, and all LGBTQIA and comrades and allies are welcome.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And thanks to Sam for organizing that. Ed?
All right, and just mark your calendars for April 28th, UPN, the Up County Prevention Network. They have their second Untamed on the Common, so it's an event that they put on to reach out to the youth, and that will be at 6 p.m. So you can go on the Facebook town page to find more information. So they'll have a band that's usually playing, and so it's a good event to help promote being safe decisions.
Great, thank you. And I just have minor announcements. I went to Leavittsville today to look at their co-op as it was being built and got a nice tour of the building, and I'll be circulating the inside photos of it to everybody. But it's a cool spot, and I'm still all in on the co-op. And as opposed to what Randy had in the monocle last week, I appreciate his speculation on whether or not a grocery store is going to make it here or not. But I think he kind of missed the boat and on it, because this is membership driven, and it's not. You have to buy in to have it be successful. So, and that's one of the determiners if it's going to be successful or not. You don't build it and see if people will come. You get people lined up to support it before you build it. And that's a key component of having a co-op. So I know that I don't blame Randy for being discouraged. I'm just as discouraged as everybody is about how a grocery store will work. But the co-op is a different concept, and we'll hear more. We've commissioned the market analysis, and we're looking forward to being contacted by that company and being able to, all of us will have a chance to have meet with that person and have more conversations with them. So, and then Wade, I know you're gonna have a denitrification update, facility update with your meeting. You can wait till town manager report if you want. Okay, good. Thank you for that. All right, very good. So once again, the order hasn't been necessarily what we planned on, but we got through it. Everybody, thank you for your patience and cooperation on that and being ready to go on a moment's notice. So we have the public comment time, and Jason, I'm going to get to you in just a minute. You can listen to more due process and wade your way through this before we get to you. But the other public commenter is Joyce Briner from 2 Hackett Court has signed up. And if you want to come on up, Joyce, you know where the microphone is, the chair, the drill, as it would be.
Hi, Joyce Briner, 2 Hackett Court, Poolsville. I'm here in the capacity of Executive Director of Poolsville Green, a local nonprofit this evening. I don't have any formal prepared comments, but I did want to just express the Poolsville Green support for the clean energy resolution that you'll be learning about or taking in tonight, and encourage you to move forward on that. In general, I want to say that I want to caution the commission on greenwashing versus real things that make a difference, action, long-term strategic thinking when it comes to the whole clean energy, addressing climate change issues. Arbor Day proclamation is very good. I think I'd have to put that in the greenwashing kind of, area. What does it really accomplish to do that? Those things and those statements and those declarations are very important, don't get me wrong. But that's the main thing I wanted to say. I wanted to also congratulate the Clean It Up or Pick It Up Poolsville folks who are working on that, and we're working with them a little bit on SSL hours. Looking forward to seeing composting move forward in the town, hopefully. I think we need to all think about the bigger picture in that, there was a big push, it's not talked about as much right now, but a move to close down the incinerator. A part of that is getting organics out of the trash stream. A big part of that is getting food waste out of the trash stream. If you can't get the food waste out of the trash stream, it's going to be a lot harder to shut down the incinerator. So the citizens of Poolsville can set an example for the rest of the county by doing more composting and curbside composting, if that's, or even dropping it off at a central location, which is being talked about. The pollinator projects as well are great in town. But I just wanted to express those few comments. Thank you.
Anybody have any questions for Joyce?
You made the, I probably figured out by the context, but there was a term I heard that I'd never heard before,
Greenwashing, yeah.
Give a good explanation of that for the people that don't know.
I guess in a nutshell, it's where, and companies are, some people point to some companies doing this more than others, whereas they talk a good talk, but they don't walk the talk. And so I don't.
I'll help you with that.
Thank you.
Jeff, what it comes down to is that there's companies out there that will do big, glossy green initiatives
Yeah.
that are low impact, but buy them, give them positive publicity in terms of credibility and public praise with really not doing much. Or
Yeah,
doing something,
it-
again, I didn't mean the flippant review of our Arbor Day proclamation, because the town actually has done that. And I know you're not criticizing either, but the town thankfully does live and do the things that we live up to, but there's plenty of places that don't. And we're always looking for ways to improve our green footprint. And Joyce is proper to caution us on that as well. So we don't want to greenwash. We want to be the real deal. And I appreciate all the town staff that works hard on it. And John, everybody, Niles, Wade, you guys, we're always trying to do real initiatives that are truly impactful and not trying to gather headlines. So we can provide that leadership. And we appreciate you, keeping us on our toes on it too, Joyce. It's important. So.
And these days, almost anything, any decision you can make, really does, there is an aspect of sustainability or a lens through which it can be looked at. And I encourage you to do that on pretty much every decision that's made. Thank you.
I hear in the back tone of Joyce's conversation of electronic work trucks for the town of Poolsville. I feel that drum beat. And all of our guys are thinking about it. You're in everybody's head, Joyce.
Yeah,
It's
no,
working.
I know, and I
Yeah.
appreciate that. And I want to maybe also, I'll just mention really quickly, yes, we're very on top of the clean energy or clean vehicle tax credit thing. There's just this, on the 31st, actually, I think it was released on the 31st, came effective the next day, April 1st. A lot of the vehicles, electric vehicles out there on the market, the IRS with this Inflation Reduction Act and the sort of refreshing of the clean vehicle tax credit, they added some requirements about where the vehicles are manufactured and some battery component requirements and things like that. It's really technical. It was very confusing. It's still a little confusing. And so they've added some clarity. There's a little more, I think things will get better over time. But a lot of the actual EVs on the market right now are actually just had their EV tax credit either taken away because you could get it, because the rules weren't clear enough, up until this past week, you could basically purchase practically any EV and you'd get the tax credit since they passed the bill last year. But now, the number of EVs, passenger cars I'm talking about, that are qualified for the full $7,500 tax credit is greatly reduced, greatly reduced. And we hope to, see that change in the coming months and years, of course. I know that all the OEMs are really working hard, I think, to comply. But a lot of it has to do with where the battery materials are coming from and where their batteries are put together. And a lot of that, up to now, hasn't happened actually in the United States. So they're trying to move that onshore, and that's where some of this delay is coming in. But so if you're going to consider an EV, I encourage you to do that. Just do your homework. If you have any questions, reach out to Poolsville Green. If we don't know, we'll put you in the right place. We'll send you to the right place.
I just wanted to add, I also noticed, now I haven't read the whole thing because it was pages and pages and pages of stuff, but one of the things I did notice, which was different than 2023's EV tax credit, is a resale vehicle, a used car now qualifies for an EV credit. I didn't see how much the credit was. Maybe it's the full amount, maybe it's less, don't really know.
Yeah.
But that was definitely not existing in 2023, but anyway.
Yeah, prior
Going forward.
to. Yeah, it's up to $4,000. The vehicle has to be at least 2 years old. It can only be done once, so it can only be resold once and get that tax credit. It has to be through a dealer, can't be a private sale. And there might be a couple other caveats I can't remember. But that is good news, yeah.
Thanks, Joyce. You truly are the car guy for the new millennium. We appreciate that. And also, too, after the meeting, you and Jeff can sit and talk about electric fire engines. And I want a full report on that for our next meeting. Yeah, I need a full report. Yeah, there you go. We appreciate that, and we appreciate your leadership with Poolsville Green as well. So thank you for testifying and for bringing us your information. We appreciate it. Good questions, Jeff. Very good. All right, Jason Woodman, the farmer of Poolsville, has now come up, and he's farming butterflies. And we appreciate you, man. Come on up and say hi. Press that red button. Introduce yourself. Tell where you live, and it's this floor is yours, sir.
Okay. Hi, my name's Jason Woodman. I just want to say thank you for letting me do my project here and giving me the piece of land. If you don't mind, I have a binder that thanks everybody and has all the paperwork that I had to sign. Not the exact ones, just copies, just a recap of everything I had to do. So if you don't mind, if I could hand that to you right now.
No, we'll take it. Thank you very much. And we'll circulate it amongst the commissioners. And we appreciate, I can speak for the commissioners, the commissioners can speak for themselves. This is single-handedly one of the greatest scout projects that's ever taken place in Poolsville. And as of right now, I know that it looks like a big muddy mess, but I know there's plants going to be coming out of there. And then there's butterflies that are going to come after those plants. And what you've done and the amount of organization it's taken, the hard work, and it seems like every time I drive by there, you're digging up something or plowing something over or tromping around in the mud. So you and your organizational skills, your leadership, your parents' dedication to this as well, your fellow scouts, your friends, the people that aren't even from Poolsville. You had an army over there on the day that it came to do all the planting. That was seriously one of the muddiest messes I've ever seen, and it's turned into such a great thing. Alongside this, which I will circulate again to all the commissioners, I want to thank town staff for everything they did. This was an involved project. There's no doubt about it. And if we didn't have, our Preston and Matt Warfield and the guys that had been a part of it, really, they just did a spectacular job. And we consider the partners that we have in Poolsville. You're one of them, of course. And our town staff is one of our critical partners. And everybody linked up to put together something that was really spectacular. And again, we thank you for the book, and we'll also make it on display after we circulate it so that it can be out front so people can see it, that get a feel for everything they had to put into it. And we greatly appreciate your efforts. And we hear you have another project you're going to have to do. So this is good. You know, you've had a warm-up project, and now we'll have he's like, wait a minute, hold it. That's okay. We'll work with you on the next one. Commissioners, go ahead if you have something to say for Jason.
Sure. Jason, I just want to congratulate you once again. One of the things I was told, although I couldn't be there because of a conflict, but the Reed family was represented, and I said, well, what are you going to do about the weather? And they said, well, Jason said it's rain or shine. And that you all went out there and kept doing what needed to be done. I had a chance to look over the work. And so I just want to commend you. And I remember just our earlier conversations when you had wanted to come to a Sustainability Poolsville meeting, and just watching you grow and the work that you've been doing from that time early on to now. I'm truly impressed and look forward to you helping other young people learn how to lead through your example. So keep up the good work. Anything I can do to support you, just reach out.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jason. Nice work. Appreciate it.
Anybody else? Jeff?
Well, yeah, I was out of town. I was in Chicago for other reasons, and sorry I missed it. But thank you very much. I mean, you're a hero in Poolsville. Yeah. So thank you, and also thank you for the book, because like I say, I didn't have a chance to be there, but I'm sure the photographs and the commentary are very valuable. So thank you very much for all your hard work and your initiative. Thank you.
I wasn't able to be there as well, but I also just wanted to congratulate you on this incredible project and for bringing attention and awareness to something that is much bigger than just a garden. It's going to help all of our farmers by helping the butterfly and bee population. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Jason, again, you've heard from town staff, the town commissioners as well. We know this is a huge project, and you've done a great job on it, and we appreciate you. I don't think we would have trusted that much land to anybody else. So now you're one of our shareholders in Poolsville, and now you get to stick around and watch all the plants grow and watch the fruits of your labor. So we appreciate it, and I am going to send over the bill for the red clay that got on the carpet at my house from my shoes. Does he have any money left in his budget? Is there anything left? Long exhausted?
None left.
All right, we'll cover it on that one. We'll make sure on that. So appreciate that. I think that was tracked throughout Poolsville. Again, thank you for everything you've done. Anything else for us? You did a great job. And Mom and Dad, you guys were amazing too. So way to teach your son some responsibility. That's high level stuff. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks. A great job. Appreciate it. All right. I love positive stuff like that. That's so good. And commissioners, thanks for being tuned in on this thing too. That's big. And as well as town staff. They did a great job. If you guys would thank them, I greatly appreciate it. Everybody. Let them know. They really stood up. Great team atmosphere. All right, very good. So we've made it through our reports and announcements. Thank you for the presentation, Joyce. Same thing for you, too. We've got some approval of minutes that we need to do. And we can get an individual motion and a second for each one of these approval minutes that are here up. Whoever wants to jump in on that. Did I go in the wrong order again? Are you getting ready to?
No, let's go ahead and approve the
Okay,
minutes.
got
So
it.
I motion
Thanks,
that we
guys.
approve. Hey, thanks a lot, guys. I motion that we approve the minutes from March 20th in the closed session.
Motion been made for the approval of minutes for March 20, 2023 meeting and set closed minutes. Second by Martin. Any other words or questions on that? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? No. Votes approved 5-0. Approval of the minutes, March 22nd, 2023 closed session minutes. Anybody want to make a motion on that?
I make a motion we approve the minutes from the closed session, March 22nd, 2023.
All right, I second the motion.
Motion by Martin, second by Ed. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion is passed. Next and final one. Somebody want to make a motion on that one?
Make a motion we approve the closed session from March 29th, 2023. The minutes from March 29th, 2023.
Thank you for that. Appreciate it. I was
All right,
going to reread it until you said it.
Second
Yes.
the motion.
Motion made by Martin, second by Ed. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Motion passes 5-0. All those minutes have been approved. Those closed sessions had to do with our discussions involving the hiring, or, sorry, it's not really hiring, the selection of a volunteer for the Planning Commission. Nothing under old business unless somebody else has something behind the table here. Nobody? New business, we have a 100% renewable energy resolution. Wade or Don Street, whoever wants to give us a startup on that, appreciate it.
Not much to add. This is a resolution that was brought to our attention by the Maryland chapter of Sierra Club months ago. November, December, I'm not quite sure, but it's taken us this long to think about the wording that they gave us as an example. We didn't particularly care for some of the wording because it didn't really apply. It didn't clarify things enough. So over the past 3.5 months or so, we've been kind of debating that in our meetings. Joyce did a lot of work on getting the wording just right and coming up with the attachment, the definitions, which is for your edification, so that as you read the parts of the resolution, there may be some technical terms that may not be familiar to you, but hopefully they are in that list of definitions. That's why that is included with it. This is the timing on these things at the very end where it talks about, we're going to shoot for renewable energy by a particular date. One thing to keep in mind is that this is a non-binding kind of thing. It's nothing, if we don't hit it by the end date, the earth's not going to open up and swallow all of Poolesville. This is something that, it's a goal. It's something to aim for. The fact that the town gets 90% of its renewable energy already from the main solar array to the Sustainable Committee, to us, it's like, well, gee, 10%, we can do that practically standing on our head. There are things that we have thought about that to close that gap within the time frame that the resolution talks about. We will be researching more of that and presenting it to the commissioners and letting you decide how you want to proceed. This is we think, important step to show not only Poolesville but the rest of the state, particularly Montgomery County, that this is how you do it. It's not necessarily easy, okay, but it's something that can be done. And we hope that down the road that other communities will look at Poolesville and go, wow, they're almost as good as Tacoma Park. Yeah. Or maybe better than Tacoma Park. We could shoot.
Do they have a solar array in Tacoma Park?
I don't know.
And they don't. So that's good. I'd like we're a leg up on that already.
Anyway, that's
So question.
the background.
Yeah, questions from the commissioners. Go ahead, Don. Thank you.
Yeah,
Sarah.
so this refers to the town of Poolesville, like town staff, town buildings, park services, all of that being run off of renewable. Do you have thoughts about ways to help the entire town, like residents and businesses, move towards renewable?
While we were debating this resolution and the idea of 100% renewable energy, that was one of the things that we sought to really clarify in our own minds. Is, are we talking about the whole town here, or are we talking about just town government? The resolution talks about town government.
Right.
We think that this would be, and some of the things that we believe will close that 10% gap, may be good demonstration projects to show the rest of the town that, hey, you can do it too.
Mm-hmm.
There are plenty of us out there that have panels on our roofs. And we think that this is a good way for the town to show the community, this is how you do it. So to answer your question, yes, absolutely.
Awesome.
Other questions?
Well, can I make it wasn't really a question, but I was actually, when Joyce was speaking, I forgot to mention this, that as a result of or at least for myself, as a result of the presentation that I think Poolsville Green did maybe 2 months ago, a month and a half ago or so, about the single stream or dual stream.
That was us.
Yeah, okay, that was you. And I know we had talked about single stream and dual stream before, but not sure I had personally a grasp on that. And I think for me, it made a big difference in terms of then later on, we were talking about the renewal or the figuring out what to do with the next trash contract. And we did go with the provider that had dual stream. And so I think, at least for myself, speaking for myself, I think, just understanding what that was and the implications in terms of Montgomery County, because you had that presentation, Montgomery County only accepts dual stream. I think it was extremely helpful and certainly educational for myself. So,
Well, I have to give credit to my committee member, Soledad Aguilar, who
Soledad, sure. Yep,
did
yep.
the real
Sure.
detective work on that.
Yes, thank you.
She went above and beyond what I thought we'd be able to do with it.
Yeah, it was very clear. Yeah, I learned something. Yeah, thank you.
So Don, did you all write this proclamation, like Sustainable Poolsville? I'm confused.
Well, the Sierra Club provided us with a template.
Okay.
Some of the wording is theirs. We did a little wordsmithing on it to clarify, make it a little more pertain more to us here locally. So we didn't write it from scratch. No.
Yeah, I gotcha.
It was a suggested template they gave us, and we plugged in numbers. We changed the wording a little bit to clarify things. No, we didn't write it.
Yeah,
we didn't write it from scratch.
That answers my question. I'm curious, Wade. You've obviously read this, Wade and Niles. Is this something that's doable?
It is, he said maybe 90%. I think we're between 80 and 90% right now.
Oh, wow.
But there is a lot of different, between community solar projects, there's so many different avenues that we get to fill that gap.
Yeah.
So I think it is possible to do it.
Okay.
And then we were talking earlier, it was doing the comp plan, and there's several landowners that will not be able to ever develop their properties just because of the population cap they're going to have in place, of course, and our infrastructure and everything else. And maybe we just talked about it, I don't know if the Sustainable Poolsville's talked about it yet. Do we put a seed in there or something to create an avenue that maybe the zoning should be looked at in the future for allowing certain types of solar or renewable energy products on land that can be developed? So that's just something as I'm sitting here writing my notes, and we're shaking our heads back and forth, but we're on the same page with that, so.
And is this something we're going to vote on tonight? Like whether to adopt this proclamation?
Well, we can, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I read it thoroughly, and I mean, it looks ambitious and it looks good. So, yeah, thanks.
I had to give, and like I said, I had to give credit to Joyce. She took it upon herself to create that list of definitions for you, and to really refine it so that it reads well and aren't any, we hope not any ambiguities in it.
You're sure this isn't the first isn't the first proclamation written by ChatGPT, is it? It's not. It wasn't. This wasn't AI derived, was it? No, not at all.
No.
I'm going to Google it. I'm going to check. It predates ChatGPT. It's only been around for a few months anyway. So, no, listen, you guys. Again, we appreciate the two-headed monster that is Sustainable Poolsville and Poolsville Green, and everybody that you guys work with. And you're our conscience. We appreciate you coming in and doing what you've done, working with town staff on this proclamation, amongst all the other things that we have going on. So, and giving us the leadership that we need. It's a sector that other towns don't even have this type of leadership. So we're proud and happy to have you guys do what you do for us. That being said, everybody, if you've got the proclamation in front of you, this renewable energy resolution, if you've read it, then we can vote on it tonight. If you haven't read it or you need 2 more weeks till we do it again, I don't think there's a huge rush to have it in place.
I have not read it.
Okay, well, there you go. That answers that question.
Well, I mean, you don't need my vote to proceed. I could vote abstain or something.
Well,
But I have not read it.
no, I'd rather that we have a chance to read it. Let's just take it, let's put it on the agenda for the next meeting. No, it's fine. It's good. I appreciate the drive that went behind it. We will get to it, guys. Don't worry. We're not going to leave this one lay. And Jeff, you'll read it, and everybody else gets a chance to look at it again. If you have any corrections or changes, it's a draft. It's also, remember, it's a goal.
Well, while we're talking about it,
Sure.
Has everyone else read it? You guys, are you on board with it? It's nothing we do. Okay, so we can just Jeff will read it next week, and next 2 weeks from now we can vote on it. Okay.
Well, it'll still be April. Now we can't cancel the April meeting, darn it.
But I'll jump in also.
Yeah, go
and
for it.
Just being on the committee and looking at the rich discussions that were held and the importance of leading by example. And with the town, before we ask others to do some things, we should be able to do that as a town. And we're only talking about a small gap. And so I think we can close that gap. And when we look at that time frame of 2030, I definitely think it's doable. And so it's we also, as we look at the importance of the changing environment and things that are happening so rapidly in our own environment, it would be in our best interest to be a step ahead. So that's my 2 cents.
Right. Again, Poolsville, not greenwashing. That's gonna be our logo. Poolsville, not greenwashing. I appreciate the commentary and the conversation on it. Okay, guys, so we will listen. This will be on the agenda on the next meeting. And be prepared to read it again, vote on it. If you have changes, let's filter them around before the meeting. If anybody has changes or corrections or something you want to notch in on that, we'll come to you guys if we make some changes. Let's verify where we are. All right, very good. Thanks for that. Good stuff. FY23 paving contract. I feel John stepping forward, and there he is. Oh, creaking. It's only been an hour, John, since we sat down. It hasn't been that bad.
I think it has more to do with the numbers.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so, right.
All right, so we had a bid opening for the roadway and repairs and repaving at various locations, fiscal year '23, on March 2nd at 11 o'clock. It was a publicly open bid. 5 of the bidders were in the 600 to 700,000 range. The rest were higher than that, as shown in your sheet. The areas to be done, to milled and reworked are McKernan Way, Butler Road, Sumter Way, Coteen Way, Dr. Moore Court, Chiswell Street, Westerly Avenue, from Hughes to Fisher Avenue, then Oxley Farm Road, the older section. That's, as you know, the Westerly Grove subdivision connects into the Oxley Farm Road. So we're going to redo the section that needs to be redone. The contractor for Lennar is going to go ahead and do a portion of that road too. Selby Court, then we have miscellaneous patches throughout the town. And some of those patches, as you probably know, are on Fisher Avenue and Elgin Road. And then we're going to do some curb and gutter repairs and sidewalk repairs. We've discussed, this contractor's worked with the town before. They've done great work, and we've been pleased with their work before. They haven't recently been awarded a contract, but they're back. Pricing was good. They understand the limits of the work, and they understand the scope of what we expect out of them. So that contractor is MT Laney Incorporated. Some of our older members may remember them when they were here before. So we recommend that contract 100.061 roadway repairs and repaving at various locations in fiscal year 2023 award MT Laney for the contract sum of $613,315. We also recommend a contingency fee be established for unseen conditions. This may be something that's in the roadway that we wouldn't expect to find, of $61,331. And then we recommend a engineering and administration establishment of 2.5% of $15,333. That would bring the total budget for this project to $689,979. Are there any questions?
You know when they will begin?
Hmm?
I actually noticed that there was already a patch on Elgin, so thank you for that.
There are some temporary patches, but not,
Well, I go through that bump every day, so
Yeah.
any temporary patch is well appreciated.
yeah.
Wade, do you want three motions or?
No, so we actually have $800,000 in an account set aside for this project, so all you need to do is award the contract.
Okay. So I make a motion, we award contract number 100.061 for roadway repairs and repaving for various locations to MT Laney Incorporated. I'm sorry? FY23 in the amount of $613,315 with contingency fee of 10%, established for unforeseen conditions, and an establishment of a budget of 2.5% of the cost of engineering services administration of $15,333 for a total of $689,979. Does that do it?
Yeah, close enough. And we're really just here tonight awarding the contract. We have the budget line item set up, so, and you've covered that in your motion. Do we have a second? Second from Sarah. So we have a first and a second to make this award as per the recommendation of town staff. Do we have any questions about the motion or the second or the awarding of the contract? None? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Jeff, I thought you were going to say that you have not read the motion yet. We have to wait till 2 weeks from now. I thought you were going to
No,
give
that
us.
was okay.
It's a lot to read.
That was
I'm there on
short.
it.
Thank you,
No,
Commissioner.
it's all good. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Again, thanks for the prep work. And it's, see, just like Titus goes away, they come back, and these guys go away, and they come back. Who's next? Who will be coming up next? We don't want to know. We don't want to speculate. Like, he's like, just keep moving on. Okay, I got it. Okay, very good. Town manager's report.
Okay, we had a well pump motor burned up in the well 12, which is the Brightwell well. Actually, it's the original well pump that was in there, so it's lasted, several years. Right now, Ricky's out there, Rick Davidson's working with a couple of different vendors to try to get it replaced. We're hopeful we could get it replaced quicker than we did well 7 when it went out, because it was out for like a month. So with, well 12 out and then 3 and 2 still off, the wells are still doing fine right now. We're pumping about 16 to 17 hours per day. So we keep a track on that.
Did you say that was well number 12?
Well number 12.
Thank you.
Summer camp scheduled. Niles and Kathy have been working on that, submitting things to the state more than once sometimes. But it looks like it's on track and it's gonna work out. But they will not have a pool day this year.
Oh.
Typically, we had a pool day once a week. Too many things. There's the bus to transport it, the requirements of the state. Ratio of counselors to campers. You had to give them swim tests. They had to wear different colored bands for the level of swim that they had. So it was just too many things at once that was going on. That portion's not going to work out. Kathy's already talking about having a water day of some sort. So there's a pond right there. That's right.
Well, just if I may make a mention on that, I remember, maybe it was not, I forget, it was maybe last summer, that you invited the fire department to come over and,
They did, yeah.
well, they couldn't blast a kid, but when you spray the water up and they really enjoyed that. They really,
We should do that again, yeah. Okay. And then, just talking about some of the events coming up, April 26th, there's another Wellness Wednesday. It's a stress management. May 6th, there's Springfest. And on May 13th, we'll have the youth fishing tournament. So some of our activities really starting to step up here, getting into the season, so that's good stuff. I know, Jim, you want to talk about denitrification a little bit, and I'll just give a broad overview. Right now, the plant itself is a biological treatment facility, which means you use microbes and aeration to break down the nutrients, phosphorus and nitrogen to a certain level. Then you have chemicals come in to remove phosphates even further, and the nitrogen also. So what the D-Nite filters do, they actually create a different filtration and use a methane gas for the microbes, and it just removes and breaks down the nitrogen completely into different compounds finally until a nitrous gas, and then it's escaped into the atmosphere. So it's kind of where all the plants are going these days, and that's why we got a grant for it, because nitrogen is the causes the most eutrophication in streams and, just the problems we have in any aquatic streams. So John can give you an update on where we are with the project. He's out there every day talking with the inspectors.
So there's 3 buildings in the project, and the first one that they're constructing is the equalization basin. Because we want to try to sequence the flow through the denitrification filters, which is in the second building, we have built a equalization basin to level out that feed rate that comes through. The methanol injections, that takes place prior to going into the denitrification filters. Right now, we just finished pouring. If you go out there and if any of you have seen the 2001 Space Odyssey, when the big block shows up, that's where we're at right now. We have that's the equalization basin, a great big block of concrete that has a pool in it, basically. And miles and miles and miles of rebar, yes, an extreme amount of rebar. And they're moving along on that. They made their first big wall pour. They have the they had a mud mat, which spreads the load, and then they had the foundations in, and they just finished up on Friday, which went from basically 7 to 7, a very large concrete pour. It is very impressive on how they're proceeding. Meridian's doing a great job. And as you can imagine, with a very complicated project like this, there are hundreds and hundreds of submittals that come in to make sure that everything is going along in the right direction, and that's taking place. So right now we're still kind of on schedule. And you never know about construction and weather and supplies, especially in this environment. We've been very, very lucky with supplies. It looks like probably in the May timeframe of next year, we should have these denitrification filters in place and up and running. If we get to that point, as you know, we want to go ahead and we're going to lower that to below the permitting levels for what we discharge. And the way they measure that is through poundage through a calculation to determine the poundage of nitrates that are coming out of the plant. And hopefully that'll help clear up. We've also, this has been going on for some time, the denitrification of our plants. And if there are a couple of different Facebook sites that if you ever go on to it, that talk about how important this has been and what the watermen are seeing out on the bay as far as clarity of the water and the conditions of the water, and the oyster harvests in some of the areas have just shot way up, and they credit it to the quality of the water that's coming out into the system. Kudos again to all those that are helping us move forward and cleaning up the conditions in the bay.
Johnny, so when are the next 2 buildings coming? Obviously I circulated the picture of the holding bin.
Okay.
What's happening on the next 2?
Equalization basin. So they still have probably another, I'm guessing, 3 to 4 weeks on the equalization basin. And then once they get done with that, then they move over to the denitrification building. Now, that process, it's going to be the structure first, and then all the guts that go into it that won't be visible to the public. So that's moving forward. And then I would say the easier one is going to be the last building that goes up, and that one's fairly straightforward. That's basically a storage building for one of the components.
John, so we're not stretched for space down there, are we?
In what way?
Well, we put a huge structure on next to a place where we probably never planned on putting something there, but I know we had the room.
Yeah.
And then we've got two more structures that have to go on into the flow of how everything feeds into
It is
the release.
getting tight, to answer your question,
Yeah.
yes. You're not going to put any more expansion in that area, most
Right.
likely.
And none anticipated for the time being, right? I mean, we're going to
No.
be ahead of denitrification for a while until things change,
And
I
this
guess.
doesn't change the capacity of the plant
Right,
at all.
Right.
exactly. You
Well,
still
that's-
have pounds
Yeah.
of loading, and that's your capacity right there.
And then the denitrification, I'll call it the block, the cube, not the holding, the basin.
The equalization basin.
And the equalization basin is just taking the outflow from the plant.
From the
and
existing SBR plant
Okay.
and puts it into a storage area.
Where it's
So-
used at it's
So
at a certain
the rate
pace.
the rate that comes across the filters can be regulated.
Fed at a certain rate the whole time and not have a spike up and down.
Right.
Yeah, because they don't, one thing you don't want to do is shoot it up and shoot it down and shoot it up and shoot it down.
Right,
This will level
understood.
it out. We'll still have peaks and valleys, but not as great.
But it'll be controlled through that basin,
Mhm.
right, and the flow of that basin,
That's right.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, good, makes a lot of sense. So,
Okay.
yeah, go ahead.
So I just have a question. So, so I'm glad we're getting a denitrification filter in place. It's a huge building. I kind of think of the word filter like a furnace filter. It's, that big. But anyway, did the Maryland Department of Environment lower whatever the requirement was for
It was actually,
nitrogen in the-
that took
Several
place,
ye- yeah,
it
several
took
years
like,
ago.
took place about 9 years ago.
Oh.
And, I'm not gonna use his name, but a head of the department, told us that we had proposed this back in 2010. And he said, no, you can do this, this, and this, and it'll work. And we kind of, he was writing the checks.
Oh.
So
Oh.
we did what we were told.
Right. He told us that they improved the aeration system and told them to manipulate the microbes with aeration. And we did it to a certain degree, but to get it down to a constant 3 parts per million for discharge for nitrogen, it just wouldn't happen when you have the I&I going on, you have some peak flows, you have weather changes. All of that drastically changes how you can treat nitrogen. It's really difficult to break down. So it didn't work. He's right. And we were such a small fry anyways. They were giving big money to the big plants that discharge, millions and millions of gallons per day.
Right.
So now we'll be below the Maryland Department of Environment requirement?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, are they anticipating lowering it further?
Well, the Maryland Department doesn't anticipate lowering it anymore at the present time
I
that
don't
I'm
know if
aware
you
of.
can, because the treatment is not, it's just not
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
So they regulate it by pounds, so your flow is multiplied by your concentration of the nitrogen release, and that's how you turn it into pounds. So it's really, it goes to pounds. So if you have high flows, even if you're getting a low number, you might violate your permit just because.
The amount of
pounds.
water passing through the system.
And pardon my ignorance on this, but to me, nitrogen has always been very positive, right? You go to the hardware store and buy fertilizer for your front yard, it's mostly nitrogen.
That's correct.
So
good. That runs off into all the creeks. That's
It
bad.
runs into the creeks. In fact, in some of your stormwater management ponds, this is a perfect example of that. You see those algae blooms that take place. Well, when you shove that nitrogen down into the system,
Oh.
that goes out there and all the algae goes, great, thanks. And we're
Oh,
gonna
okay.
party.
Jeff, that is the reason for our nitrogen problem.
Yeah, I use, I forget the name of the company that comes and fertilizes, yeah.
You
But I mean,
probably
it's
use
one of the most-
1040 or something like that, most likely, yeah.
It's one of the top 10 elements in the universe, so it would seem to me to be a good thing, but apparently.
It's the
Obviously
concentration.
it's not so great, yes.
There are best management practices that go along with that.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Any other questions for John on this? I mean, appreciate the update. It's a very big deal for us. Meridian is a partner, and we will continue to work with them till we get to where we're going. So
Yeah.
that's good stuff. Thanks for that, John.
Sure.
Are you done over there, Wade? Was that it for you? You encored with John? Niles, anything from you, buddy? Okay, good stuff. All right.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
All right, second this motion.
All right, I just look and look, and you
If I
guys
make
do
a make,
it. Oh,
I just want, I really
one
want to.
more question.
I know.
Yeah, go for it.
I've said this before, and I really want to say it out loud in front of everybody. I really want to credit Niles. He does a fantastic job for the Parks Board. He's on top of everything you can possibly ask him. And when I was reading his minutes, they are just very, very detailed. So I enjoy that. Thank you, Niles.
I'll jump in there too. Kudos to Niles. He does a great job explaining things to residents, reaching out. He's doing a great job. So I echo that.
Congratulations, Niles. Keep up the good work.
Great hire, and I think I told you that Mayor Newton cornered me and said, that we made a great hire, and that one of her biggest regrets was, somehow getting outmaneuvered to have Niles leave. So she was very, very proud of our hire. And Martin, thank you again for bringing in her. She was really Mayor Bridget Newton of Rockville really helped us, cemented the deal for Niles. So you can send her that coffee cake you were talking about. It's all good. All right, you guys, we have a motion. We have a second. All in favor of adjournment, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? That's it. We're done. Thank you, everybody, for a good meeting tonight. We appreciate it.